All right, guys, so it's time to talk about the live-action Snow White movie. Now, we've done plenty of videos on good old Rachel Zegler's Snow White film that's coming out soon, and Disney is 100% in a panic over this movie. This movie has gone through so many different reshoots. This movie has gone through so many different PR spins. They are trying to do damage control. They even decided to go with CGI dwarves. Yes, they said, you know what? It's actually really bad if we hire real dwarven people, because one dwarven person by the name of Peter Dick Dinklage decided that he's the only one that's allowed to have work in Hollywood. So we need to make sure we don't hire actual real dwarves. So here's what we're going to do. Instead of the diverse non-dwarves that we were going to have before, let's just put CGI dwarves in there, and that way nobody can complain to us. It's honestly a major joke, ladies and gentlemen, on top of the fact of all the nonsense that Rachel Zegler has been pulling in her time as not even, she hasn't even been fucking Snow White yet. I was going to say in her time as Snow White, but she hasn't even been Snow White. But still, in her time leading up to her being Snow White, we all know that a lot of her articles and interviews have been absolutely horrendous, and she doesn't like the people that she's trying to sell a movie to. So let's get into this article from that part, place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So in this particular video, we're going to talk about the fact of a certain person by the name of Zach Roloff, okay? This guy is a Peter Dinklage, right? So he's a dwarven person, and he is completely against what's happening in Snow White, as are a lot of dwarven people. There's been people that has come out and spoken against what Disney's doing with CGI dwarves. There have people that have come out and spoken against Peter Dinklage. And let's be real, what Peter Dinklage did was what most people do, okay? Not just dwarven people, what a lot of people do, which is they come from nothing, right? Or I don't even know if he comes from nothing, but let's just be real. They get to a point where they have everything, and then what do they want to do? They want to kick the ladder out from under them. They want to make sure that nobody is able to follow them. They want to make sure that they're the only ones on top, so that way everything stays with them, right? They get to keep all the success, they get to keep all the money, the fame, and everything that comes with it, and kick the ladder out from under them. Nick Calandra did the same thing at Second Wind. It's no different. These psychopaths all think the same. So Zach Roloff has an issue with that, and then we're going to get into it. It says Zach Roloff, one of the stars of Little People Big World, torched the Walt Disney Company and Peter Dinklage following the release of the film's latest trailer. As first reported by Cosmic Book News, Roloff expressed his thoughts via some Instagram story posts. Ex-user Reality TV for Life shared that the pair of posts where Roloff wrote, "If you've been following our podcast, I've had thoughts about this. They updated/diversified Snow White, but they went backwards on the dwarf side. He hopes that Peter Dinklage is happy." In the second post, he wrote, "So they aren't just taking away the dwarves and making Snow White, they're CGIing the dwarves. This isn't 1937. There are actually a lot of people with dwarfism walking around. Either focus on Snow White or own the dwarf representation." Now, again, like I was saying earlier in the video, Peter Dinklage kicked the ladder out from under him. He didn't want other dwarven people to have jobs that he was able to have. He wanted to be the dwarven person that gets hired for every fucking role that requires a dwarven person. He wanted to be the guy. And the only way to maintain that status is to kick the ladder out from under you and ensure that no other dwarven person has the ability to get the same kind of roles, because he probably doesn't have a lot of confidence in his acting skills. He thinks that he can't stand out enough without making sure other people get suppressed in the meantime. Back in the beginning of 2022, Dinklage appeared on the WTF with Mark Maron podcast, where he criticized the Walt Disney Company for their upcoming live-action Snow White film. Dinklage said at the time, "Well, you know, it's really progressive to cast a, literally no offense to anyone, but I was a little taken back by, they're very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, so take a step back and look at what you're doing there." He continued, "It makes no sense to me, because you're progressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backward story of the seven dwarves living in a cave. What the fuck are you doing, man?" Again, you just kicked the ladder out from under you. It's because of you, Peter Dinklage, and nobody else, that dwarven people are not being hired for Snow White. It is because of you, and it's only you. There could have been 7 people that would have got a paycheck, 7 people that would have had an opportunity to showcase themselves on screen, 7 people that could have added Snow White to their filmography, but unfortunately, because of you decided to kick that ladder out from under you, and now they don't have that opportunity. They don't have the job. They don't have the ability to say any of the things that I just mentioned for their filmography. So you are a literal piece of shit when you do something like this, because you know that you wouldn't want the ladder kicked out from over you if you were trying to chase a particular style of film or whatever the case may be, or just trying to chase a career in general. It's already hard enough that you got to deal with dwarfism. Now you got to deal with the fact that you got dwarf on dwarf crime over here, and this motherfucker won't shut the hell up and stopping opportunities for other people who maybe aren't there yet. I think it's insane. Have I done nothing to advance the cause of my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough, he said. You are not the only dwarven actor. You need to stop pretending as if you were the reason why dwarves are able to get jobs in the first place, because it's very clear that because of you, they can't. He then concluded, I don't know what studio that is, but they were so proud of that. And all love and respect to the actress and to the people who thought that they were doing the right thing. But I'm just like, what are you doing? Later in the podcast, he added, if you tell the story of Snow White and its most fucked up, cool, progressive spin on it, let's do it all in, but I just don't know. In response to Dinklage's comments, a spokesperson for Walt Disney Company told The Hollywood Reporter, to avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. So, what? So, wait. So you supposedly consulted with the dwarfism community, which we all know they probably didn't, let's be real, because if they did, they would have hired them, right? So let's take you at your word. You consulted with the dwarves. And then by consulting with the dwarves, it was upon your decision to then not hire a single one of them? So you got their information, you got their consulting, and you decided to not hire a single one of the fucking dwarven people looking for a job. That's incredible to me. We look forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period, the spokesperson added. Yeah, because that's you were trying to go with diversity people, right? You weren't even trying to go with dwarves. You were going with tall people and 1 dwarf, right? You went 6 tall people and 1 dwarf, and they were all super diverse DEI hires. Then you decided, you know what? That's not good enough. We need to actually put dwarves because people are not going to watch us if we don't have dwarves in the film. And then instead of hiring real dwarves, you put CGI dwarves. So you've been reshooting this shit so much that your budget must be through the roof. I don't see how this film is going to have any chance of getting its money back. It would have to be a banger. It would have to be over $1 billion film for it to make some money. And I just don't see how that's going to happen in the current climate that's surrounding Disney right now. The Hollywood Reporter also asserted the film has been in development for 3 years. The studio has been reimagining the dwarf character since their earliest stages. Well, that's the biggest problem. Roloff is not the only person to torch Dinklage for his comments that seemingly caused this change to Snow White. Tara Joel, known for Little Women series of reality television shows, questioned Disney's claim that they reached the members of the dwarfism community. And that's what I was saying. I don't think they actually did. I don't think they spoke to anybody. I just think that was a PR move. She said, I reached out to the largest little person community, which is called Little People of America. Did they hear from Disney? No. So who's this little person community you're reaching out to? Is it by the name of Peter Dinklage? It is. It 100% is. They called Peter Dinklage. They're like, listen, man, what are you going to allow us to do? What are you okay with us doing? Listen, you don't want any other dwarves? Fine. We're not going to hire them. No problem. You're okay with CGI dwarves? Like they called him. They didn't call anybody that was part of any real community. We know that, man. Come on, stop the bullshit. So at the end of the day, man, Disney is getting roasted for this, and rightfully so. And I cannot wait to see what happens when this film comes out in theaters. Are there people that are going to go see it for nostalgia reasons? Absolutely. But I don't think this is going to be a major win for Disney. And if it is, I'll admit I was wrong. But I just don't see how that's going to happen. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.